we've all, of course, grew up going to the same church. We're at all the same sporting events with our brother and I being on the same team. So I mean, really, I feel just as at home with her family that I do at my family's house. And I hope she feels the same way. I'm sure she does. It's we've never had to, I guess, meet each other's family. We grew up together.
Yeah, growing up, Curtis was just another one of my brother's friends. I didn't even see anything in him. I was like, oh God, there's another boy coming over. Like, you know, I grew up like with all boys around me basically. Anyways, and up until middle school was probably the times I started like, dang, Curtis Freimeyer, you know, like I like him. And here I was in middle school and he was in high school, so I never had a chance.
But never once thought that I would marry her. And really all of a sudden there was this good looking freshman walking down the hall my senior year. Anyway, I remember just falling for her. And of course I was focused on football and, you know, living for the Friday Night Lights like I had growing up in small West Texas town. And then I guess at the end of the senior year, I was in a small group Bible study and she was in it, and I fell in love immediately when I saw her heart for God, saw what she stood for, saw, you know, who she was, who she served, and I mean I pretty much fell immediately. There's no doubts for me.
Through anything, I knew I was going to end up marrying him and that I loved him. I fell in love with him right then in that Bible study. I was in love. He was mine.
Everyone that knows Lindsay will tell you that she's the most loving person and carefree person that you'll ever meet. She accepts anybody, and she would do anything for anybody. And that's something that, you know, there's times I come short of what she deserves, and most times she never says a word. You know, she just loves me right through it. And I think that, like I say, anybody that knows her will tell you the same thing. She's truly a gift. Yeah.
He's very giving. I'll say that about him, and I love that about him. He'll do anything for me, for anybody, and he's a big heart, and I don't know. I just look at him and I'm like, man, that's a man right there. Like I feel like he's always been. Like he should have been born in a different day because he's an old man. I don't know. He's wise. He's smart. I learn from him every day. I feel like he knows everything. So, yeah, he's very respectful to me too. I mean, you don't get that very much these days, and I love that he's respectful to me. And I don't know. He's a very godly man too. If not anything, yeah. I lean on him more than anything when I'm struggling with anything. So, and he helps me with anything. So, yeah.
I mean, I can tell you the spot in the road I was at when I knew that I was going to marry her. It was the summer between my senior year of high school and my freshman year of college. She knew I was fixing to be leaving for school, and anyway, we were actually coming home from the land that we managed growing up, and had a great day out there, and we were coming home, and I think I was leaving the next week, and I remember we just turned off the highway. We were between the Baptist church and the McNeese's house. Everybody from Crane will know where that's at. I remember her looking at me and telling me she didn't want me to go, and I didn't want to go, only because of her. And I knew at that moment, that's when I knew that she was the one I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. And actually, I believe God reveals things to people in their dreams as He did in the Bible. And I remember vividly having a dream within that week of her walking down the aisle to me. And to me, that was just confirmation. so I started building towards that, and here we are. After I graduated college, we were dating, and anyway, I knew she was the one I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, and started saving for the ring, and started working up a plan for the proposal, and all that went perfect.
It was pouring down rain one night, and we were watching, out of all movies to be watching, we were watching The Notebook, and it started pouring down rain, and he just drags me off of the couch, and he's like, let's go, and I'm like, what? Okay. And then so he drags me out in the middle of the street in front of my house, and then he just told me right then and there, he was like, I love you, Lindsay, and that obviously, I told him I love you back. But it was pretty good. It was a good night. But
we had gone to Dallas to go to a Texas Rangers game, and we were in the Dallas Galleria. We're just, working class people. We're blessed to have what we have, but we're not just living high on a hill. But we went into Tiffany and Company. Anyway, of course, everybody knows those rings are kind of outrageous. But like I say, had been saving for a long time. And when we were in there, she just wanted me to go for the fact of having gone in the store. But she didn't know that I was seriously looking.
He didn't know anything about a Tiffany store. He didn't know who Tiffany was. He didn't know anything about it. And I mentioned it to him one day, and I was like, yeah, there's Tiffany's, And I was like, but no one can get that. I mean, you have to be like sky high rich to get one of those or something. And he was like, well, we should stop by and get go and look at a Tiffany ring. And I'm like, we've never even looked at rings. Why are we even going to bother walking in that store? Let's not even do that. And he's like, no, let's just go get an idea, because I'd like to see what your taste is. And I was like, okay, I guess so. So we went in there, and I looked at different rings, and we narrowed it down to this one that I have now.
And she pointed at the one that she's currently wearing. Anyway, and I made 2 secret trips to Dallas without her knowing. Lied to her, told her I had to go back to work early, and round tripped it. Anyway, picked out the ring, and when the ring came in, I drove and got it. So anyway, I was glad to be able to do that. But
he threw me off. He kept telling me that he was building me something. And he, I guess for the past 2 months, I was thinking in my head, he's making me something. I was thinking maybe he was making me a jewelry box, I don't know, mirror, something. I don't know. Anyways, so he said, well, my birthday weekend, he supposedly had my birthday present out at his parents' place in Christoval. And he said, it's too big for me to carry in my truck. So we're going to have to keep it out at Christoval, and then we'll just go out there and, you can open it there. I was like, okay, cool. And so that evening, it was after we fed the ducks. I had to go feed the ducks. So we went out there, and first off, we get to the gate, and he blindfolds me. And I'm like, why do I need to be blindfolded? He's like, just do it, Lindsay. And I was like, all right, I'll be blindfolded. And it never crossed my mind that I was fixing to get proposed to. Never crossed my mind. And so anyways, we get down there. We call it the Lovestory. Anyways, so we get to that area, and he unblindfolded me, and all I see is the big oak tree with the lights and Frank Sinatra playing in the background. And Frank Sinatra is he's my man. I love him. Had him playing in the background, and then he had a little picnic set up. And I've always wanted to go on a picnic, and that was kind of a little picnic for us. And so then we sit down and we eat some cheese and crackers and drink my favorite wine that he got at Olive Garden. Well, we first found it at Olive Garden, but it is my favorite wine. Anyways, then he asked me to dance to Cody Johnson, one of our favorite musicians. And so we're dancing, having a good time, and then he looks at me and he was like, so you ready for your other present? And I was like, I have more? I thought this was all. This is good, this is perfect, I was just amazed by what all was happening. You know, the tree alone just was beautiful, and I was just, I don't know, it meant so much that he put so much detail into an engagement. I standing there, and then once he got to me, he like reached for my hand, and for a second I was like, wait, you know, like this is kind of, I don't know. And then like I was like, can I open him? And then I opened him real quick, and sure enough, he was on his knee, and all I saw was the box. And I just looked at him and I was like, Curtis, no. Like and I obviously cried like a baby. But yeah, I mean, and he said, he told me, I guess I'll always remember this. He was like, I never built you anything, but I am asking you to build a future with me. And that, you know, that's always stuck with me since he said that. And then he asked if he wanted to or if we wanted to get married, obviously. And then I forgot to say yes. I was so like emotional, excited and everything. I forgot to say yes. And anyways, we get up and we hug, and he was like, so is that a yes? And I was like, yes, obviously, I'm crying. But yeah. Anyways, so then he like motions and says, he's like doing this. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then like all of a sudden, my parents and his parents, they come out of the barn, and plus my grandma, they come out of the barn and they were watching the whole time. And then his sister comes out of the bushes taking pictures. And so they got to watch the whole engagement, and that was so special to me, especially because my grandma, she's not going to be able to make it, but it just meant so much how much thought he put into it. And I was just so overwhelmed with happiness and how much he paid attention to the little things, the details for me. And that made it so much more special because he just did so much detail. So yeah, that was an awesome engagement. You can't beat that. You don't get that very often, so.
It'll look just like my dream. She is my dream. Yeah, obviously. I mean, I can't even put into words. So, I'm ready.
I'm just looking forward to that moment. My dad gets to, I've always dreamed of my dad walking me down the aisle, and I'm so thankful that he's going to be able to do that tomorrow, you know. And you know, seeing Curtis, it's going to be a relief, I think. Like as soon as I get to him, I'm just going to be like, all right, let's do this. Like I'm ready to get married. And I don't know, it's going to be, my heart's going to be full of happiness. I just know it will be, and I'll probably have the biggest smile on my face tomorrow just because it's unreal to me. It hasn't really hit me, but I think tomorrow when it's all happening, it's gonna soak in, and I'm gonna be amazed. So.
And of course, we need to thank everybody for this day. There's undoubtedly been sacrifices from multiple people that have made this happen. But most of all, I mean, I have to thank Lindsay for choosing me, for trusting me to honor her and to honor God and to build a life together that will ultimately honor God, and we'll be able to serve Him through. And I'll always do that. I'll protect you. I'll honor you.
I love you, and I look forward to spending forever with you. And thank you for making me become a better woman, and for myself, and for the future, and for you. And I look forward to, you know, spending every day with you. And I'm very thankful for you and how you respect me and love me the most.
I love you. If there's anything I'm not doing, just tell me, and I'll do it.